Welcome to a revolution of love. What I'm going to share with you today, my name is Christine Elwert, and I am a divine being, and I am a guide and a teacher and a healer, and I'm an author of this book, Ascend to Joy. Transform your life through Living Kabbalah. And today I want to share with you the process of inspiration moving into manifestation. And I'm going to do it by sharing how this book came to be, because it's pretty magical, and it's still something that I'm just wrapping my brain around, because very frankly, growing up, I never really saw myself as an author or as a writer. Oh, sure, I had lots of stories to tell. That was kind of my style of teaching as a teacher, was to tell stories and to be able to have people relate to a particular concept through a story. But I never imagined writing a book. And then in my, was that my 68th year of life? Yeah, I think it was. I was going through a beautiful study called the Universal Kabbalah in a ascension process through the Modern Mystery School. So a very particular type of study of Kabbalah. And I was learning a lot of things. And one of the things that I was learning was to create and bring about something referred to as TMRs. Tangible, measurable results. It's kind of along the lines of goal setting, and yet it has a very distinct quality of expecting manifestation, and so a willingness to dig in and put the work and the time and the energy into making these things happen. And at that time of my life, I was going through a particularly difficult transition. Have you ever had those? Well, this was a difficult one for me. I knew that it needed to happen, but I was in a lot of resistance to making that happen. So as I was going through my Kabbalah studies, I set as my tangible, measurable result that I was going to leave my psychology practice of 26 years and move into more of a full-time guide and spiritual coach positioning. And it was another way of moving out of what I call the matrix and being more authentic in the way that I could work with people. Because I really love working with people. I love seeing them manifest wonderful things in their lives. So my tangible, measurable result was that I would leave my psychological practice and start a guide practice, a guide, teacher, healer practice, coach, and that I would measure that. I would know that I had succeeded because it's tangible and it's measurable, that I would have approximately 15 clients a week, and that would be sustainable. So I thought it was going to take me a long time because a Kabbalah study is about 10 to 12 months, unless you're during COVID, and then it's like 16 months because you can't get together to do the things you need to do. So about 7 months, 6, 7 months into my Kabbalah ascension process, my studies, I was going about the work, the tangible work of changing this emphasis from psychology into spiritual coaching and guide. So about 6, 7 months into it, I'm looking at my planner. I still keep a physical planner. I don't know, there's something that I like about that. So I have this physical planner, and I was looking at my planner, and I went back like about 3 weeks, and I saw that I had between 15 and 20 people that I was seeing a week, and that had been going on for 3 weeks already. And as I looked at my clientele, the people that I'm working with, these beautiful people that I partner with to bring about the love, peace, and joy that I know can happen in everybody's life, I realized that there was a very concrete and reliable flow that was happening as people were coming to me. And I thought, oh my gosh, I think that I found and accomplished my tangible, measurable result. And I got so excited. I was like so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I accomplished my TMR. And right at that moment, I had come in from the divine a very distinct message. And it went something like this. So, what about our tangible, measurable result? Okay, you have my attention. The divine has a way of doing that. God has a way of doing that. Now that I have your attention, I said, what is your tangible, measurable result? Instantaneously was the idea. Write a book. I was shocked. It was like, write a book? Yes, write a book. About what? About Kabbalah. I'm like, okay, and then the negative ego, steps in, and I start arguing with the hierarchy of light. Oh my gosh, the arrogance just doesn't stop. So I said, but I'm not a writer. I'm not a Kabbalah teacher. I'm a student. I can't teach people about Kabbalah. What about Kabbalah? And there was kind of like this, like humoring me kind of attitude, And I just said, so what's it supposed to be about? And they said, your experience of Kabbalah. because that's what you're an expert in. You're an expert in your experience and the experience of people around you. And I went, oh, okay. So I had to look into what writers do besides sit down and write, because I realized that with anything, there is a discipline and there's an order and there's planning that has to happen. And so I meditated and communicated, with my higher self, with the Holy Spirit. And I learned that a lot of writers set aside dedicated time that is consistent every day, and they sit down and they write. I mean, that's the simplified version, right? So I dedicated an early morning time before, most other things happen in my life. And I dedicated about an hour. And I sat down at my keyboard and I thought, okay, now what? And put my hands on the keyboard, and it just started to flow. Actually, it was more like an avalanche. Not like that, not like barfing. More like a waterfall, like the power of a waterfall just coming through. And I was typing and typing and typing and typing. And I know in those first 3 weeks, I was probably working on this like 3 hours a day. It was unreal. And I thought, wow, okay. And so we have an event at the end of a Kabbalah study called Final Ascension, where we cross the abyss and we go into the supernals and we encounter God. It's so beautiful. And so at this, you're supposed to talk about your tangible, measurable results and what your experience was. And I was able to share with them that I had finished my tangible, measurable result and that I had been given this new one. And so I started to read to them some of the excerpts from what I had written. And at lunch that day, a young woman, a beautiful young woman, her name's Heather, and she came up to me and she said, I have to talk to you. I want to edit your book. I said, you do? She said, yes, I want to be an editor and I want to edit your book. And I said, that would be awesome. I would love that. And so Heather became my editor. About 2-3 weeks later, Heather calls me up. She's so excited. And she said, guess what? And I said, what? She said, I just met a publisher. I said, what? And I think she wants to publish your book. I'm like, okay. And so I met another beautiful young woman. Oh my gosh, these women are just, they're goddesses. Her name's April. And April she owns and started her own publishing company. And when she heard what my book was about, she said, oh yes, I would love to publish your book. Because my company is about producing things that will put into the world light. So within a month of, no, this was like about within 6 weeks of getting this inspiration and turning it into some perspiration, I was met with the synchronicity that happens when we are in alignment, when our will is in alignment with God's will, with the will of the universe. And I was supplied with an editor who was a lifesaver through the whole process, and a publisher who was inspirational and motivational and just incredible. And on May 20th, 2020, okay, not a great year to be trying to get a book out, right? Whoop, yeah, this is 2020. This is 2021. And so May 20th, 2020, I launched the book, and it is filled with droplets of light, so that when people read it, there's a couple of things that happen. One is that they become excited because they start remembering who they are and what they're about. But it can have quite the opposite effect too. When droplets of light come in and they explode, and it doesn't fit with the rest of what their belief system is, or, you know, their heritage, or their, you know, dogmatic, you know, way of looking at the world. But I'll tell you, people have a reaction. They have a reaction. So I'm sharing this with you. First of all, get the book. It's on Amazon, and read it. It also has a workbook in it. If you've never heard of Kabbalah, or if you want to know what a life activation is, or if you want to know about Empower Thyself, or if you just want to share life with me, then buy and read the book. And take this story and know that inspiration is available to you. And then when you put the planning and the perspiration into that inspiration, then you have fruit that is so good. I love you. Join the revolution of love. Be inspired. Plan and do the work. And let's get world peace done. I love you.